A little bit more progress on the TR6 engine bay. Fitted up the cross member, alternator, water pump now and pulley, put the coil on, put the pedestal on, put the battery back in. So connected the steering rod up, lots of little jobs then. So the next big job is going to be to put the metering unit back on and get the radiator and oil cooler back in, then we can fill it up with oil and water. A couple of shout outs then for people who've helped with the next stage. Wolverhampton Radiators did a really nice job of cleaning out and fixing a very small water leak on the radiator. And to Neil Ferguson for doing an absolutely fabulous job of refurbishing the metering unit. If you remember the metering unit, of course, having to be tuned in order to match the cam. So for the radiator, we're going to put an electric fan on and do away with the engine driven one. And so in its place, I've bought this nice little 30mm pipe insert with a thermostatic switch on it from around 85 to 95 degrees. So we'll put that in this pipe here, and that'll be our signal to the electric fan so that it can kick in and out. Another few hours in the garage then, and we've made some progress. Radiator and fan is installed together with his handy little temperature sensor to switch it on and off. We've got the metering unit installed now. Interesting to note here, with the drive flange in the correct position for top dead center. Reading through all the manuals, the instruction is that this one, injector number 6, should have the hole showing in there. So we've managed to time the metering unit to the pedestal, so I'm confident that that's set and ready to go. So we've connected the fuel back up again. We bled the clutch and put the oil cooler back in, so that means the oil can go in now. Slowly getting there, ready to start. So the next big thing then is to put the throttle bodies back on this side and then fill it with water, and we're almost there. So the throttle bodies are on the car now, and for the initial setup, what I've done is set the springs loose all off, so I know all 3 bores are tightly shut with no air coming through any of them, because I've got a coating of Molykote on each of the bores. See my other video for the details on that. What that means is I can control the initial idle on the idle adjustment screw. So to run the cam in at 2000 revs for 20 minutes, I can set 2000 revs using the idle speed control here, leaving the bores fully shut. Then once we've run the cam in, we can connect all the speed control cables and balance the cams up, balance the carburetors up, so to give a good idle. Right then, so throttles all mounted up. I've put the pipe on to the metering unit so we can get the vacuum to pull the diaphragm up to let more fuel through, put the brake servo hose on. These are all mounted up. I used a spring just to pull them all tight, so I know all the throttles are closed, so I can open the throttle based on this. Might open that a bit actually. So next step then is to let the fuel back in and bleed the injectors, so I know I've got fuel, and then we can put the injectors in. I've done a separate video on bleeding the injectors. Fairly straightforward process, best done by pulling each one at a time, using a small pair of pliers to pull the little nipple at the end, so to allow the air to escape. Hold it up in the air, crank the engine over, and the fuel will push through. At the point where you snap the nipple shut, you should get a nice spray. Once you've got that nice spray, you can move on to the next one. So a minor bit of rework before starting the engine. Just going to take the distributor out, take the pedestal, and use a handy little tool to turn the oil pump to see if I can get the oil pressure before we even turn the engine over, get the oil well circulated around the engine. So I'll go backwards to go forwards. So here you can probably just about see we've got the timing for the distributor set vertically with the bigger piece on the right hand side, and we've got, if I zoom in, the hole on number 6 aligned, so the fuel is coming through to number 6 cylinder at top dead center. So now we can bolt it all up. We've got some oil pressure so we can bleed the injectors. So we've got the injectors bled, done by turning the engine over, pulling the little pip on the end of the injector, getting the fuel out, and then turning it over and seeing the conical spray on a piece of cardboard. You can actually do it with the engine running, take them out one by one and do it that way. But before we start the engine, we have to do each individually. But what that means is we've now got fuel. I know we've got top dead center. I know the distributor was good, so we've got spark. We can just check we've got sparks on the spark plugs, and then in theory we're good to go. And so to start up then. that's the engine running, which is a fantastic milestone, and probably a great place to leave this video. So in the next one, we'll get this engine tuned a little bit more, get it running properly, and then see if we can get the interior in, ready to give it a test run. So as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for all the comments. See you on the next video.